making education available to all, irrespective of their social status, is something that should be supported. The commitment to providing a level playing ground for all students, regardless of their physical challenges, is a commendable step towards fostering a fair and inclusive environment in the pursuit of higher education. To create a conducive environment for all, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB Registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, has announced a groundbreaking initiative that will allow persons with disabilities who wish to sit for the 2024-2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination to register at no cost. This initiative is a commendable step towards ensuring equal opportunities for all aspiring students, regardless of their disabilities. JAMB took a significant step by establishing 11 dedicated centers across the country, specifically designed to cater to the needs of persons with disabilities during the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations. This move is aimed to create a conducive and accessible environment for PWDs to participate in the examination process. Joining us on the show this morning to discuss this latest initiative by JAMB is Professor Ishaq Oloyede, JAMB Registrar, and Epelle, CEO founder, TAF Africa, who is also the convener, Disability Inclusion Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us, Professor Ishaq Oloyede and Epelle, on the Morning Show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Okay, let me start with you, Professor Oloyede. JAMB has introduced what it calls JAMB Equal Opportunity Group, as it were. And the whole idea is to introduce an inclusive policy to carry everybody along. What exactly is JAMB doing differently for persons with disabilities, whether deaf, blind, whatever? What exactly is JAMB doing in that regard? And Epelle, I'll come to you after Professor Oloyede. You tell us what the reaction of your good self and TAF Africa and the community of persons with disabilities is to this initiative by JAMB. Professor Oloyede first.
Thank you very much. I will summarize what we do differently as constantly identifying the needs of people living with one disability or the other and trying constantly to address those needs. And that is the summary of it. What we have done recently, apart from setting up the JAMB Equal Opportunity Group that helps in catering for this class of Nigerians or human beings, because there are non-Nigerians among them who are seeking education. What we have also done is to create the consciousness of the existence and needs of people living with disability with other people so that they could attend to their needs. We are also asking the institutions, for example, recently we held a forum where vice chancellors, rectors, provosts, and people living with disabilities, with the present and past ministers of education, we had a forum where we discussed extensively the needs of people living with disability. And we then came up with some of the things that can reduce the pains of people living with disability. For example, we now have support units for people living with disability in each of the tertiary institutions in Nigeria. This was not to be so. We are also creating an opportunity for the university, the polytechnic, the entire tertiary education system to be able to have accurate statistics about people living with disability by category in each of the tertiary institutions and also at the JAMB headquarters. We also have made it possible, for instance, this year, that starting with the blind and the deaf, sorry for that, in JAMB, we try to avoid people living with impairment. We use it, we say blind, where it's not to insult them, but in order to remove those crooks who will say, look, I'm blind, I'm impaired because I have sight impairment because I'm using glasses. So they want to make a nonsense of a good policy. That's why we use that we are talking about those who are blind or those who are deaf. And these people now, starting with these two categories this year, we are saying we are going to provide for you the cost of the application form and all you need to register. We have, in the last 4 or 5 years, been providing for their transportation, for particularly the blind. The deaf, we mainstream them into the system, and we make sure that the needs of the deaf is also attended to among the students who are supposed to be general students. So we also make sure that this year we are removing diagrams, any diagram map from the question, we are replacing them with substitute from the questions for the blind, because we believe that places them at a disadvantage. We are taking steps to make sure we have agreed with the institutions that these categories of people living with disability will not need to take post-UTME examination. Whatever they have as their score in the UTME will be the 100% score on which their performance will be based. So apart from giving them this support, we are also looking into how do we retain them after gaining admission. So that is why we are speaking, we have brought about, and this year we are also holding an international conference on people living with disability in our tertiary institutions. And we are bringing experts to come and look at this. We are also providing facilities that will make things easy for them. Like audio books now, we are providing that to support the deaf, the blind. We are also providing, we are ensuring that nobody in any of our examination hall will give any instruction that is not written. It must be written in addition to whatever other means you want, in order to ensure that we cater for those who are deaf. Then we have other categories of people living with disability, and each is being addressed. The need of each of them, of this group, is being addressed by the Joint Equal Opportunity Group under the leadership of Professor Peter Okebukola and my brother Epelle being also a distinguished member. So we are doing all this not to favor or to sympathize with people living with disability, but to ensure that they have a feel of belonging, to increase inclusivity in our education system. And we also believe that having put experts and people who are interested in looking after the needs of this category of people in charge, the result has been marvelous. If you know how much Okebukola committee is doing, they meet regularly, round the year, all year round, rolling out policies. And recently, the National Council on Education in Lagos approved one of their 5-year development plan of what we want to do to make sure that we have people who are living with disability admitted in large number for as long as they are qualified and retained, and also ensure their success after education. This we believe will also contribute to the peace and harmony that we require in the larger society.
Well, thank you, Prof. But Jacob Epelle, Mr. Epelle, your reaction to JAMB Equal Opportunity Initiative as enunciated by Professor Oloyede.
Thank you, Dr. Ruben. I think I will not react, but respond. My response is kudos to Professor Oloyede. And I think if we have Nigerians, many Nigerians in public offices like Professor Oloyede, this country will move forward. My mantra for life, based on my personal experience, is education, education, education. The more educated a man is, the more that man will succeed. And when he succeeds, one of the dividends of success is money. And I always say that the color of money does not discriminate. The color of the money does not define who is holding that money. It has the power to attract and influence the society. You know, even though money is not the only thing that influences the society. But however, at TAF Africa, we believe in advocating for inclusive education, and we've taken it further. I was the first chair of the Inclusive Education Policy Formulation Committee for federal government through Federal Ministry of Education, and it was successful. And recently, it has been reviewed and approved by NCE. And part of that policy is to create this kind of novel education system, which JAMB have created, and to ensure the implementation of such. And that's why we supported JAMB, both in the advocacy and the implementation of Equal Opportunity Group, which I am privileged to be one of the invigilators, and 2 other persons with disability are also, 3 others are part of the invigilation team. And it's a fantastic idea that have produced meaningful results that have given access to persons with disability in a safe, same environment to take examination, feeling comfortable and dignified, and getting result at the end of the day. It's been very marvelous and well accepted by the community of persons with disability. The only problem, which I'm so grateful to your channel and several other channels who are supporting us, is that we need to create awareness so that both those who are in the local community, subnational and the national, will be aware of this very wonderful initiative.
All right.
And these individuals will then eventually subscribe to it. Yes, go ahead. Looks like I heard Ayo's voice.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Epelle. And rightly said, we must raise awareness about this wonderful initiative, partnership with JAMB and, of course, organizations like yours. But let me ask in terms of further support. I know that every help matters, and JAMB has taken, the right step in pursuing this. But what would you, from the people that you represent, what are some of the specific needs, beyond this? And how best can JAMB ensure that this, number one, gets to all their intended users, and ensure that, so you talked about, media organizations partnering with yourselves, but what other ways? It's because when we look at media, we have people in the, urban areas who watch, but there are some people in very rural areas who would need access to this information. How best can this be cascaded? And then for Professor Oloyede, thank you so much, sir, for your visionary leadership. And just to ask you, beyond, you've emphasized and talked a lot about the support for people living with disabilities, especially the category that you've mentioned, blind and deaf. But I know that this opportunity is expanded to include other groups, like people living with Down syndrome, people living with dyslexia, people living with ADHD and autism. How will this play out for them? And how would you measure this, especially because it's a broad spectrum? I'll start with you, Mr. Epelle.
Okay, thank you, Ayo. It's a very, very important question that you ask. We are going beyond the media. As much as God has given me the privilege, and friends like you and Arise and several others are giving us the platform, I also know that there are people. I am a very rural dweller, passionate person. I want to reach those that cannot be reached. And I was discussing with Professor Oloyede. He's going to be on a radio show, which is nationwide. And I said to him, we want to go where probably Arise will not get to, which is the hinterland, you know, and not because Arise is not set up to reach that, but of course there are limitations. All right, so we're doing that. We're going to the radio, we're going to the social media. We are, last night, the King Jaja of Opopo, my king and cousin, is in town. So I engaged him and I said, we need to engage the traditional institution so that they can also help us spread the news. Please get back to the Opopo Kingdom and ask your town criers to go around and said, look, if you have a person with disability, please take advantage of what JAMB is doing now. You know, so we're engaging the faith-based institution. I've spoken to Bishop Michael Okonkwo, who is my spiritual father, about making an announcement in all the branches in Trem. I'm trying to reach the Redeem. I'm trying to reach the National Mosque. You know, I'm trying to reach various faith-based organizations so that these announcements can go out so that the people involved can be reached. I'm reaching the community of persons with disability, the leadership at all strata, and say, please announce at your cluster group so that we can take advantage of this. I'm also reaching people like you, Ayo, Dr. Ruben. You are on your social media handle. You have huge followership. My friend Usene, please help us spread this gospel so that more people will be educated at the end of the day. One of the innovation that JAMB is doing, you know, Prof can be very humble, doesn't like to talk about his work sometimes. You know, one of the things that he's doing is that they're going a step further to say the moment these individuals take these exams, you know, and they are admitted, some of them don't have the long legs to get the admission through. I've seen Prof pick up phone and calling the vice chancellors, please, let's help these people. If they are qualified, give them admission. That's the kind of proactive steps that we need. At the committee level, we are pushing every button, talking to whoever we need to talk to, bringing it to every fora to make sure that this information will go down the rural dwellers. But a lot more needs to be done. A lot more needs to be done. And we will keep doing this. And thank you, Arise, for the platform.
Excellent. Thank you so much. A lot must be done and a lot will be done. Professor Oloyede.
Yes. Right. Yes, I want to say that the committee, that is the Equal Opportunity Group, we started in 2017 with just the blind. But the group has called our attention to the different categories of disability that people are living with and are prepared for each of these categories. I think this year we are adding one, people with small bodies, which was not part of it before. So all the categories you have mentioned are being catered for by one group. And that is the group we call Equal Opportunity Group. And it has identified in our strategic plan what the needs of each of these groups is and how to attend to the need of every one of the groups. You will find out that because of the attention that is paid to people with special needs, we are able to get to the roots of their problems rather than solving non-fundamental issues for them. For example, I was telling you, in one of the resolutions this year is that all those who are living on wheelchair, because everybody who is still living is a potential disabled person. Once you are not dead, nothing assures you that you will not be disabled. So it is in the interest of everybody to prepare and support. We are saying that in every institution, all those who cannot move, who have mobility problems, those who are on wheelchairs, their places, their residents should be identified. In case of fire, in case of emergency, there are people dedicated to primarily rush to rescue those people because they know where they are. They should be given access, accommodation at the least difficult place of all the places they have. They should provide for them to be able to come down. When somebody is living on wheelchair, you don't go and put him on a first floor or a second floor where there are no facilities for lift and other things. So we are making sure that we provide the opportunity for each and every one of these group. And it has to be need focused. It is not just general, it's not federal character that you just want to do it in order to satisfy. We are making sure that they are designed specifically to be able to address the needs of the candidates and the students. For example, those who are deaf, you would not read it from their face that they are deaf, but they are suffering this. How do we make sure we make it happen? How do we attend quietly to their needs? And those who are living with, some would not be blind, but they have some problems about reading. How do we get them magnified glasses? How do we provide certain special needs they have? How do we get them instrument, technological tools that can facilitate their learning? We also believe that government should coordinate some of the centers established for the needy. We thank the government for institutions like Federal College of Education Special in Oyo, for instance. Yes, that's very good. But because not all people with disability will go there, it is important for us to provide facilities, and we believe that there should be a center, a nationwide center that will be catering and looking for how to ease difficulties for students in polytechnics, colleges of education, and the universities, so that they can have a resource center where their problems could be addressed. Recently, the Equal Opportunity Group of JAMB is conducting research on how best each of these categories could write their UTME and how we can retain them and how we can make them successful after they might have gone through tertiary education. So what we are saying in effect is that we are catering for all categories. With those who are not disabled in one form or the other, we are catering for them too, because some people say, oh, you are paying more attention to them. This is just, we have over 7,000 invigilators, catering for 1.5, 1.6 million candidates. But you have this group that you have about 50 of them, catering, 50 out of 7,000, catering for this group of people. So I believe that we are not doing that at the expense of the mainstream, but we will not also allow the mainstream to deprive these people with special needs the opportunity to actualize themselves, to have equal opportunities so that they can shine. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Real quickly, in all of this, I want you just to talk us through actionable steps. Mr. Epelle, you threw the challenge to us, which we're happy about. We'll put it out there in various platforms and all of that. But actionable steps. How can the man that doesn't have access to television in a remote local government get on this and write JAMB without paying anything that is living with some level of disability? Briefly, actionable steps. And Prof, I'll come back to you. Kudos to you and kudos to your good work, Prof. You have transformed JAMB. Sir, Mr. Epelle.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Thank you so much, and thank you for the offer you have made. I've watched you both from a distance and closely. When you say a thing, you do it, and so I'm trusting God that you will continue to spread this news for us. We are practically planning, hoping that I will get the resources to engage the 774 local government and their chairman to engage the inner communities and give. Word of mouth is powerful. Word of mouth doesn't need sometimes technology. So we're using the word of mouth approach to ensure that we take this information down to the people that needs it. But not only that, depending on available resources, I intend to further partner with JAMB, if possible, to do town hall meetings in the next couple of 1 month, 2 months across the country, going from one state to the other. I just came back from Bayelsa State, you know. So we intend to do that. I was in Bayelsa for a whole week, engaging everybody that we needed to engage. So we intend to engage the people while engaging the Federal Ministry of Education and the State Ministry of Education so that we can cascade this information down to the people that needs it. But beyond that, we're also engaging the community of persons with disability, you know, because the provisions are there. We need to take advantage of the provision. So we will engage, and also ensure that we are constantly partnering with JAMB, getting information from them, how many people have registered. Then we will know that we still need to do more work to push for more people to register. But we're also talking to media houses like yours and saying, look, let's get 60 seconds commercials that we will probably find some element of money, because we know you need money to run your station, and so that we keep pushing this information, using the word of mouth approach, using the Twitter approach, talking to anybody that get information. Virtually every family, 1 out of 10, there's a person with a disability in their family. So we tell them to please spread this information as quickly as possible. We will use the social circles. If we know anywhere where there's any event that will bring people together, we will go to that event. If we have to beg to be given a chance to talk, to spread information, we will, you know. And then we'll also try as much as possible use successful people who have gone through this system and they were able to get admission, and they are in the university. We're trying to use them and say, okay, here's our role model. This is somebody who went through this and had been successful in getting admission. You know, we're going to also use them. I think also it's important to mention here that I have seen persons with albinism in centers. They were not turned back, not because everything they need were there, but the moment they show up, we immediately innovate to make sure that we cater for their need. For persons with albinism, we need things like large print examination sheet, large print screen. And I can tell you that Prof sometimes personally comes to that center to see what we're doing. Okay. So this is not a thing of trying to advertise him or talk about his good work. These are practical steps.
Okay, Mr. Epelle. Prof, as we wrap up, your insights quickly.
Yes. Sirs, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to spread the news. And what we expect is that starting from this year, we are saying that we do not want to start with everybody who is suffering one disability or the other. That's why we are starting with the blind, and the deaf for this year. And we are saying that those of them who have 5 credits, when they go to register, they will go to any of our center. We thought of asking them to move to our only JAMB own CBT. We felt that would create some discomfort for them. What we have asked them to do now is once they have the required 5O level, not somebody who has not taken the pre-qualified, the exam that will pre-qualify him, he or she will go to any of the centers, the closest center, to register. And through JOEG, JAMB is repaying the cost of the form. Not just the cost of the form, everything. That is, whether it's 7,000 or 6,000, whatever it is, in addition to the cost of accommodation where they go, which we have been paying, in addition to the cost of transportation and their guide who come to them, we are also paying them full for those of them who have 5O level. We are also calling on people living with disability to believe that JAMB is an establishment of government that caters for their need. So they should not hesitate to call on us when there are peculiar problems for them to solve. And we have also created a situation with our institutions that those who are living with disability, they don't need to be ranked. Once they meet the minimum requirements, every institution, tertiary institution in Nigeria has agreed that if you say your minimum is 5 credits and your minimum for medicine is 250, for example, every person suffering disability who meets this minimum qualification, it may be number 300 on the ranking table. It may be number 180 on the ranking table where you are picking just 100. We are saying they should be picked. And in a situation where you have more of them, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 in a particular course, in a particular institution, therefore you cannot take all of them because more qualified persons are there, we are arranging with the institution to suggest to the candidates other disciplines, other courses that they could take. And I must thank the vice chancellors, directors, and the provosts, the ESNUC, the National Board for Technical Education, and NCC for marvelous cooperation. They are cooperating with JAMB to ensure that the institutions attend to the needs of these people.
Prof.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we're trying to manage time. I need to ask you
sir.
1 or 2 other questions that I need you to just address as briefly as possible. Number 1, there are UTME students who have been asking for the extension of the validity of UTME results. What is the position of JAMB in that regard? That's one. Number 2, the Council for Legal Education has suspended the admission to Base University Law Program. Is JAMB aware of this? And what steps is JAMB taking in that regard? Council for Legal Education suspending admissions to law program at Base University, and then the extension of validity of UTME results.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Extension of validity of UTME results. If that will be done, there are conditions. The present examination that we conduct is not an achievement test. You cannot bank something that cannot be called achievement. If we must go in that direction, we have to change our examination to such that, like IELS, SAT, and all the people, the other American or British exam that people are comparing them with. They don't test geography, they don't test history, they don't test mathematics. They test critical writing, critical thinking, aptitude. These are things that could be tested. And their own examination is not for 25 minutes as we have here. They do it for minimum of 3 hours, intensive. That could be banned. So it depends on the nation. Our own position is that what we are having now is a ranking examination. No person who knows what education is will suggest banking is not bankable. This ranking is examination that is not based on achievement. You do not have pass mark. But if you want to bank an examination, professionals know that there must be pass mark. You say anybody who attained 40, 30%. This is not the case. The UTME candidate take is for ranking purposes. It can take all of them if there are chances, and it can take few of them depending on availability. People are comparing oranges with apple, and I think it's because they are not experts in education. Those who are experts in education had advised authorities on what to do, that if you can go the other side, just you have in America and other, but the examination will change, the time of examination will change, the cost will change, everything about it will change, and there will be pass or fail. It's not something that somebody on the roadside can just comment on. It's something that requires some skills, expertise, knowledge that you can, anyone that the government wants, that the nation is willing to go with. JAMB will do the needful, but the present exam that we are taking,
very quickly,
nobody
Prof.
throughout the world takes that type of exam,
quickly,
and that is about the validity of the exam. The second question
University
you
law
asked
program,
is about
briefly.
base university. Yes, JAMB is at the entry point. Law school is at the exit point. So even if base university, a Council of Legal Education suspend base university for not doing what it's supposed to do, for violating their rules. Yes, of course, Council of Legal Education has the right to do that, and that will be sought out with the Council of Legal Education. It has no immediate effect on us because they are talking about those at the exit point. What it means for us is that the appropriate authorities at the entry point, that is the NUC, will just give directive that please do not admit anybody into law of that university because of that. We will not suspend admission until the entry point controller, NUC, in the case of university, will say this has been suspended. So Council of Legal Education and National Universities Commission will have to work together. Otherwise, as far as we are concerned, we will continue to admit the students. It's only that it's not that once you have an LLB, you cannot, it's not mandatory that you must have BL. You can produce people. There are people who have degrees in law, but without going to the law school. So it depends on the attitude of the National Universities Commission that is charged with the responsibility of admitting, controlling who comes in. JAMB is just to admit, but whether we should stop admitting students into the university for law or not will not come from the Council for Legal Education. Because Council of Legal Education is talking about the product. What Council of Legal Education will communicate to us is that once you graduate, don't send them to law school, and we will not send them to law school.
On that note, we would like to thank you very much, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, for joining us, and Mr. Epelle for joining us this morning on The Morning Show.